Merry me everyone. So I'm doing the card drawing for the solar month of Pisces 2016 right now. There's going to be a card from the Ocean Sun deck, a card from the Mystic Sea deck I have here, and a card from my Eagle Medicine Wheel. Our first card is Morality, which is the Queen of Swords in the clouds. Navigators, Mystic Sea. Ooh. Some cards want to come out. It's okay. You want to come out. 4 cards, 5 cards. They're welcome. You've done that before. Alright. I don't know why I did that. I just felt like doing that. So, in the Mystic Sea, we have our major arcana card, the Universe, and Consecration is its keyword. So far with these two, I'm seeing a pattern with these cards, but it's not so much color. Okay, there's a little bit of color, the orange and the yellows, but and some contrast. But I'm seeing patterns as a theme here, which is interesting. That hasn't really come into my consciousness before while doing these readings. Alright. The White Eagle Medicine Wheel back. Our card is Raven Reversed. Okay, so I'm going to start with some of the astrology going on during this period before I talk about the cards and their influence. We have Venus. That's going to be in Aquarius and Pisces during the solar month of Aquarius. So that's love, money, values, sense of beauty, opinions about beauty. It's going to be in 2 different signs: Aquarius, funky, innovative, experimental, sometimes emotionally detached, weirdo Aquarius, but genius Aquarius, and also Pisces, the last sign, and the wheel, which is kind of everything. It's a sign of everything. It's dreams, the unconscious, magic. It's a water sign. So there's that influence going on. Mars is going to be in Sagittarius, expansive Sagittarius. And we have Jupiter retrograde retrograde the whole time in Virgo, which has been going on since January 7th. It went stationary in Virgo and started to go retrograde. So we also have Mercury, the planet of communication, travel, and there's some notes in here specifically about travel going on. So I want to pull special attention to where Mercury is going to be, the planet that governs over that. So communication, skills, craftsmanship, I say communication, but all forms of communication, mental realm, our minds, and time to an extent as well. That planet, Mercury, is going to be in a couple different signs. Aquarius and Pisces, it looks like. crossed into Aries, goes into Aries on March 22nd. So it'll go through Pisces, the whole of Pisces during this month, entering Pisces on March 5th. So there's a sense of deepness in a way with the sign of Pisces and the unconscious, being so all-inclusive. Pisces, Aquarius, also govern over astrology, with our communication, with our travel, with our mental states and what's going on there. I think it's direct, right? We had a retrograde in Capricorn for Mercury in January, so it's just coming direct right around this time when the sun goes into Aquarius. So that's a very interesting factor too. We'll have gone through all of the reworkings of the retrograde in Capricorn, and then we're coming out of it, out of the shadow period, and into the fresh newness of Mercury's travel. I know I'm probably losing some people, but so communication and our mental world, our thinking, our mental health, and traveling, your skill development, and so forth. And it's going to be an innovative, funky, weirdo, genius, experimental Aquarius, and then going into Pisces, where it gets deeper, it goes into the unconscious, into a dream world, into the unknown, into an emotional world. And what was I going to say about that? Oh, just that, Mercury in Aquarius is kind of a genius thing, which sometimes is threatening to people. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it's very welcome. Sometimes it's threatening at first because it tends to break through into things that are not norm, that are not yet culturally acceptable, that sound outrageous to people. Einstein, I believe, is in Aquarius. I'm not sure if his Mercury was in Aquarius or not, but many people like that made extraordinary breakthroughs had the Aquarius influence. And so we're all going through that energy, and I'm gonna wait and do the reading and see how that goes into it. But okay, other than that, those are the closed planets. So we have a couple different things here. We have the morality card. I know you've seen these before, but I'm just gonna show you morality, and there's a lot of patterns in here. This card is very much about patterns, about getting stuck in mental patterns that can be heavy and weighing us down, and really taking a lot of energy. Sometimes we think that it takes a lot of energy to break into something new, and it does sometimes to break through inertia, but staying in our old patterns can really take a lot of energy from us too, and we find a comfort zone in it, and there are benefits to that. But as you see here, there are a lot of patterns, there's restriction in sticking with that. And so we have that card, we have the Universe card, which is a major arcana card, and this card really reminds me of Aquarius. Consecration, so that has to do with something new being made official. Okay, so it's like you trying something on. It's like if you go shopping for a dress, for example, and you're looking at the dresses and then you're trying them on. When you go and you actually buy it and you walk out of the store with it, that's sort of the consecration step. It's officially yours now. You've taken the action to make it yours and to mesh your energies with it, really. So we've got that card, and we have Reverse Raven, which I think is very interesting, probably very powerful. I have that totem here. We're in winter, and this month is actually the last solar month before spring. When it ends, the solar month of Pisces ends, And the next one, so the month of Aries begins, that is the very first day of spring. So Raven, I think of Raven as an autumn, winter totem animal because Raven is a scavenger bird. He or she goes around and cleans up all of the waste, roadkill and sick animals, things of that nature. And we have that kind of goes on in the winter as well, I think, in nature and within our own lives. To an extent where we're going around doing that in order to prepare for a new cycle, to prepare for spring, and to allow room for new developments, new things in our life to emerge with the spring. So, this card, I'm going to read through my notes here. This card, it has to do with being real proper, stiff, being severe, black and white thinking. There's a note here to remember that thinking is all belief systems, and sometimes it is important for us to have belief systems so we don't just float around in life like a piece of styrofoam in the sea, but there's a need for balance there also. If we are too rigid and too stuck in our belief systems, we can be really missing out on life and hurting those around us at times as well, making it hard for them to be themselves, to express themselves, feel safe in this world, and not feel suffocated and too constricted. And this card also has to do with being alert, being aware, being conscious, cutting to the root. Those are some recommendations this month. I'll get more into that cutting to the root, but there's recommendations to be alert, thank you, be aware, be conscious of what's going on, and not to get stuck with being too proper, being too stiff, being too black and white, too can you knock it off? Too rigid and forceful with our opinions and things that have worked in the past, pushing that onto the future and onto the present, saying this is the way we've always done things, this is the way it has to be done, therefore, and not allowing change and flow is really restricting chi, restricting life energy, restricting evolution. And there's a cautionary message here not to do that to an excess, to come out of it by the ways that I've mentioned here, such as being alert and conscious. So all of the mental judgments in the mind that are rigid ideas of good and bad, sinful and virtuous, acceptable and unacceptable, moral and immoral, are all products of our conditioning. There's a note to remember that, for better or for worse. And there's a recommendation to stop cutting at branches and leaves and go for the root, it says. So sometimes humans have a way of trying to deal with their problems in a manner that only temporarily solves them. So, it's the last month before spring. We're really being advised to get out of that pattern and to look deeper into the root cause and try to pull up that root and solve the problem for real, for the long term. That can be really beneficial and helpful for us and get us out of some of these negative patterns. So some examples of that are like addictions. Smoking, for example, may relieve your stress temporarily, but long term it just keeps you in a cycle where you're more stress, and it's not really, that's the example of cutting the branches and the leaves rather than taking the root out of it. But there are many other things, food addictions, behavioral addictions, ways of relating with others, all sorts of things. So that's what this is about, looking at ways to do a little like clutter clearing, sort of energetic spring cleaning before spring arrives. Pull up the roots of the weeds, get them out of the garden. So that's what this is about. Alright, there's this card which has to do with traveling. So it may be that more people are doing some traveling this month, whether it is, more local, short trips, or long trips. It could be either. There's also in this card the suggestion of major changes, again, last month of the season. But this for some people can be major changes on any level. Questioning life's meanings, open to new experiences, preparing to consecrate time to different ways of thinking. Acceptance of limitations of current circumstances and imperfections of those around you, especially anyone you may encounter in new endeavors. I'm thinking that for a number of people, this is going to be new people coming into your life to assist with this shift, with major changes you may be going through, or just the shift of the seasons and the time and what's going on here. Okay, I'm back. I had to turn the camera off. There was an interruption, and for all of you who don't know how I feel about that, I feel like when things like that happen, it happens for a reason. It's for the best. Like, for example, it wasn't going to be an accurate reading from that point on if I had continued, or there was more information that I couldn't receive until a later time, and now I got that download of information from Spirit, and now I can do a more accurate reading. So it's all good. I'm here, my messy hair, that's just me sometimes. And I'm going to try to transition gracefully and continue on with reading. I apologize for everyone who was just listening and not watching and really knowing the difference anyway, but I felt like I needed to do a little message there for all of you who would have noticed, the different flows and everything. So, okay, now I'm rambling. We have, we left off, I made a note where we left off. So, the Raven Reverse card, that's where I want to pick up. There is a message here to be less materially focused, to look beyond reality, to see the magic in ordinary life. And that's a very Piscean thing right there, to look beyond reality and into the magic in ordinary life and everything. Pisces is the sign of dreams and the unconscious and so forth. So I think art is going to be more predominant this month for just about everyone in some way or another. If you are an artist, I think you are more likely to have a greater flow or be more productive in your art, or have some sort of breakthrough, even if it's not seen this month in that way, like more productive, more producing your art, having more time for art. I think it's going to manifest that way for some people. For others, it may just be that you're having some sort of breakthrough that leads to future, something in the future developing with your art, whether that's having more time in the future for art or whatever it is. I think also for people who had an artistic hobby in the past that's become dormant, for some people that's going to be resurfacing. I think for some people who don't really consider themselves artistic in nature or to have any artistic hobbies, something is going to be presenting itself that you're going to find, you're going to give a try, You're going to take something from that. For some people, it's going to be an interest that stays with them for a long time. But new developments in the realm of art, for sure. There's also a note with this card with Raven reversed to recycle, to help clean up the planet, to avoid adding to the garbage of the planet. And I think this is on a material level for sure, but I also think that this can be in any realm, any level, and not just the physical one. So if you have some sort of bells or whistles going off in your head about what this could mean for you, I would suggest that you listen to them and not brush them off. I think they're silly. This could be mental things. For some people, I think it's going to be mental things, like negative talk, perhaps releasing that habits of trash talking people or putting out negativity into the ether. As it's an example. For some people, I really think that's what it's going to be, but what I'm really getting for a message is to listen within, listen to messages that come to you from the outside. I think for most people there's going to be kind of a click or a bell if that is what's needed. If there's something that's, for you personally, the universe is asking you to change, I think that you're going to get a certain, like a little notification, like you get when you check your email and you have new mail, there's a little flag up type thing on a number there that tells you you have new mail. You're going to get some sort of sign. Alright, so there's also this month lessons in taking potential energy and the void of creativity and shaping it into the form you need for your growth. This is very deep. This is very artistic, though it is not going to be about art for everyone. It's a metaphysically artistic thing, the way that I see it anyhow. But for everybody at an individual level, it's going to be different what this is, but it should be empowering for many of us, or most of us, because the lessons that we're going to be partaking in are going to show us how to transmute in such a way as to further our growth, further our evolution. So that can be very empowering to know that we've done that. Right, this goes along with rebirths, but birth, spring, Aries. It'd be interesting to see what comes up for the solar month of Aries. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing these past the solar month of Aries, because I started the Taurus last year, and I made the goal, the resolution to do a year's worth and see how it goes from there. But I do intend to do Aries. And the way I'm seeing this is like I'm seeing it like a ball, like energy, like the sky, right, on shaped, formless energy. And I'm seeing it like being brought together and forming into a ball and kind of rolled into the month of Aries. Something new, as like a seed, a giant seed that's rolled into Aries. So it's like the creation of the seed that goes into Aries, and Aries has the energy of the sun that makes it grow into something. Lessons in taking potential energy and the void of creativity and shape. it into form and way for your growth. This can be, this is so vast what this can cover. This could be with people's careers, seeing things that you didn't see there, potentials, and different ways of doing things, being able to change something a little bit and I guess shape things in a new way to further your growth. Love relationships, family, personal routines, habits, the way you take care of your health, all kinds of things. I don't know why, but I'm having a very hard time transferring this concept, this idea from visual thinking into words. So I apologize if some of you are really confused by it. You can leave me a comment. Maybe at a later time I'll be able to explain it in words better. Alright, those are all the notes I have written down. I want to actually look in this book quickly and gaze at these cards again and see what comes up. So I apologize if this video is longer than you'd like, but again, I just have to do it the way it feels right to do it. Okay, there are some common themes coming up here between the cards and the Piscean energy, and I'm seeing it's kind of advice for healing and wellness. Is that it's going to be a time where it is favored to do a certain amount of surrendering into the universe, surrendering tension, surrendering fixed, just going with the flow a little bit, I guess, loosening up is what's coming to mind. Surrendering in that sense and letting go of strictness, rigidity, having a more open mind. For some people, there are going to be major challenges, major changes, traveling, new experiences, and so forth. And so there's going to be a certain benefit to having a que sera, zen, loose, flexible attitude and perspective for these things. Releasing and let going of excess in preparation for the spring and just dealing with this month. Things that are bogging you down, again, tensions and excesses. It's always good advice, right, to do things that are good for your health. So releasing excesses in relation to that. Smoking, drugs, alcohol, unhealthy foods, toxins, toxic people, toxic situations, toxic habits, things that you cling to. It can be looked at the other way too. So if you have a habit of poor hygiene, for example, releasing that habit. Okay, so releasing the staleness that you tend to hang on to, right? And incorporating in newness, freshness, so showers or better hygiene, whatever that is. It can be products too. So if you're using toxic products, looking for more holistic, green, healthy products to use in your body and so forth. But again, looking at the holistic picture of your life, did that on a very physical body health platform, but your whole life. So anywhere where you can do that, where you can release excesses, release the old, the sick, the dying, the garbage, the waste that's cluttering up your life, one way or another, that's causing tensions and stresses and rigid attitudes, clinging to the past, inflexibility, killjoy, anywhere you can release that. So you may want to do like a meditation on that, and you want to ask yourself that question and go into meditation and put yourself in a receptive state and have a notebook nearby and allow the answers to come into your conscious mind, into your awareness about what that is, what is the garbage within your life that you're being asked to wash away. And then take notes on that and then take action. That would be a really good thing to do, I think. And the energy under the Pisces sun, I'm calling it, sun in Pisces, the energy is extra supportive of that kind of communication with yourself, of checking in with yourself internally, bringing unconscious information to the conscious mind, doing meditations, healing through that. Another thing you can do is to ask yourself, to ask source, whatever your religion or spiritual path feelings indicate for you, but to ask for guidance and information to come out in various ways through your dreams. Keep a dream journal. You want to honor it by taking action too, so you don't just ask for clarity about something to come into your dreams and then not have a dream journal. You want to set the intention, ask, and then take action. So write the dream down as well. But you can ask for, it's a very good time to do dream work. So however you want to change or alter your dream state, your sleep state, at that, it's a good time to do that. So if you have nightmares, clear that up. If you're unable to remember your dreams, change that. If you want to have lucid dreams or astral travel potentially, if you want to have psychic dreams, if you want to get guidance through your dreams, and so forth, if you like to visit people in your dreams as well, there are all kinds of things. It's a good time to do dream magic, dream work, dream recall if you'd like to remember your dreams, taking action again, as well as setting intention. This can be done. You can also ask for it to come out in various other ways, all kinds of things you can do right now to connect your conscious and unconscious mind for the betterment of your life and to know yourself better. So you could do this through art as well. You can ask for subliminal messages. So that's the correct term. You can ask for your unconscious to speak to you through your art. You can do various exercises. I forget what it's called, automatic writing, I believe. You just write and messages come up. Many things to look into here. It's also a time where psychic energy can be heightened, telepathy can be heightened, divination can be more powerful and more insightful. So if you are feeling called to work with some of this, you may want to research it or look deeper into that and take action on that. You may want to go get a tarot reading or go see a psychic of some variety. Let's see how I pair the messages. This is a very powerful, beautiful card in its image I want to show you. To me, part of what this is saying, the message from the picture itself, is it reminds me of dancing. So to dance, to be creative, to make art, to have fun, to really embrace that spiritual, beautiful part of yourself as creator that is connected to potential energy and just grab right into that void of potential energy and scoop it up, and it's powerful, and you can create from that. To have fun, loosen up, be flexible, have fun with it, and embrace that mystery, be playful, enjoy yourself. There were three very dominant messages, not predominant, but there were messages here that really pay attention to me. So I'm going to just relook and see here. Poetry is another way. I think expressing oneself, there's kind of a need for a vent here, with flexibility, loosening up, venting, expressing, and if you want to think of the unconscious and the conscious as having sort of a gate between them, there's a need to open that gate at times during this month and to allow sort of a flow. So, I've named a lot of ways of doing this: art, dream work, meditation, paying attention to what's going on within. I think it's going to be especially important this month. It's almost as if you do not open this gate at times and allow it, because that's the natural current of the energy. Okay, so if you did not watch this video, I think things in your life would be happening in accordance to this to an extent anyway. It is the flow, the flavor of the month. So in order to actually not partake in this at all, you would really have to be digging your heels in, putting up barriers and a lot of resistance. So what I was seeing, however, was that if you don't go with the flow, if you don't open this gate up, and I do feel like if you're watching this video, and even for some of you, people who you're watching it for yourself and them, you may want to talk to them a little bit about allowing themselves to express more artistic, or allowing themselves time to meditate. to connect the fantasy world, the imagination with reality, because as we become adults, a lot of us tend to suppress and block that out, and it's really, it can get detrimental, the energy used to block it out, to kind of, we tend to believe that it's all fake, it's not real, invalidate it, and it can cause a lot of damning in the body, a lot of damage, and rigidity, inflexibility. So, if, like I was saying, if you want to think of the unconscious and the conscious as having sort of like a gate, sometimes it's shut, it's locked, and we walk around either in our conscious waking life, right, and we're focused on the material plane and so forth. Sometimes that's perfectly fine and called for, and what's actually in our best interest. And it works the other way too, when we're unconscious and we're sleeping, we have that gate shut so that we're not physically sleepwalking and hurting ourselves, combining those worlds. But at other times, it's in our best interest to open that gate, let that spirit out, to allow a flow back and forth. So some examples of how this occurs is remembering your dream. People have psychic dreams, deja vu, telepathy, all kinds of magical things that occur, things that people think are miracles or synchronicities. These all have to do with that art being painted as well. When we take in feelings, there's a lot of emotional healing that can occur during this month as well. So unlocking feelings deeply suppressed, or feelings that we didn't know we had, allowing them to come up to the surface, allowing them to come out into our awareness. Suppressed feelings, repressed, repressed feelings, memories, thoughts, things of that nature. Sometimes those are reason for gates to open. So, that being said, I have words of caution. We need to work with other people on certain things you're partaking in, so you don't want anyone to jump into deep ocean waters not knowing how to swim. But it is time to embrace the water a little bit. Pisces is a water sign. Alright. And this is a lot of talking here, but yeah. Cleaning up for spring, loosening up. A lot of potential for healing, I think. And in true Piscean fashion, I wasn't really able to pin down a lot of the details, kind of vague, kind of mysterious reading. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Comments below. Support me on Patreon. Link for that's in the description as always. Thanks for your time, your support. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Would love to hear retrospect. What happened for you during Pisces solar month this year? If you want to let me know in the comments. And until next time, I'm Mary Park. We'll meet again.